Allowing children to establish independence. So, we have one major problem with that, and that is overprotective parents. Now, overprotective parents cause a lot of harm without realizing it. Um, a lot of the problems that overprotective parents cause for their children is children lack the ability to socialize. They become socially awkward. I know this from personal experience because when I lived at my parents' house, they protected me from almost everything. I wasn't allowed to leave the house except for school and church, and I wasn't allowed to hang out with friends or, well, outside of school basically. So, because of that, I never developed socially. I've always struggled to make friends, and I'm still socially awkward to this day. Small talk is like a huge challenge for me still. Um, and this is all consequences of my parents being overprotective. And the reason why they kept me from hanging out with my friends outside the house is because they didn't trust them and they didn't trust the world. So, um, they would say things to me like, well, I don't know what they're up to, or, well, I don't know their parents, I don't trust them. They could meet and they still wouldn't let me hang out with them, or they weren't allowed to come to my house. So it really, really isolated me. And another problem that overprotective parents causes is children to develop mental health issues such as depression and anxiety. They're scared of the world. They're scared to go out there and be creative and to take risk. So, I mean, that's just two things. Um, Children wind up fearing failure because they've always had someone there to help them. So, overprotective parents do two things: they keep their children from doing things, and they do things for them so they don't have to do things. So, you may wind up with a parent who decides that even though her child is not doing what they're supposed to, let's say they're not doing their homework, and they decide to do the homework for them so that they don't make bad grades, they don't face those consequences. Maybe the parent fears that the child won't be successful in life because they believe education is insanely important, so they wind up doing the homework for them. Well, that doesn't teach the child responsibility. The child becomes maybe entitled. I mean, there's a whole slew of problems that can happen. So children wind up having low self-esteem because of, overprotective parents because, well, they don't know how to face the world. They get scared. Why do parents overprotect? Well, there's many reasons why parents may overprotect. One of the reasons why they may overprotect their children is because they may have been hurt before in the past. Their parents may have overprotected them, so they're continuing the cycle. I mean, there's multiple different reasons why parents overprotect. They don't want their children to get hurt. Um, they are paranoid. They fear the world. They think that people are out to get them, or their people are out to get their children, and they don't want their children to fail and to suffer the pain of that. So a lot of the times parents don't do it out of malice. It's just a side effect of their parenting. Establishing independence. So how can we help children, grow and not overprotect them? Well, you could do simple things. You could give your children allowance for doing chores, teaches them responsibility. Um, you could give them money for making good grades. And one thing that there's a rule that many psychologists go by, and it's not to do something for your child that they cannot do themselves. And it could be a very painful rule, especially if your children are young. Like imagine your child is 2 years old. It would take you maybe like 15 seconds to dress them. Well, if you make them do that themselves, they're going to struggle, and that's just painful in of itself to watch. But not only that, it may take like a painstaking 15-20 minutes for them to accomplish that task. And so you may be asking, well, why would you allow the child to go through that? Well, because maybe in a year from now, so say the child's 3, it's second nature. They're able to dress themselves quickly and efficiently. And so, they start building these habits early or adopting responsibility early. They start becoming independent and learning how to think on their own. So it's simple things like that that help children grow. So allowing children little ways to adopt responsibility helps. Allowing them to get involved in their community. So let's say it's a teenager, trusting that they can, use their license appropriately. If they, prove, that they're trustworthy. So there's many benefits to allowing your child to become independent and adopt responsibility. One of the things is that opportunities open up. So if your child knows how to think on their own, if they know how to present themselves to the world, if they know how to be socially acceptable because they were allowed to be vulnerable in the world and put themselves out there, many opportunities will open up for them. Children will have the opportunity to pursue many careers. They won't be socially awkward. They'll be able to develop friendships easier. They'll be more successful in life. They'll be better problem solvers. They'll be better decision makers. They'll be more creative. So I urge parents to not overprotect their children and allow their child to be vulnerable, because in doing so, they'll grow up and be more successful. We don't want children to grow up and be adult babies. It's kind of sad when that thing happens. So I strongly urge parents to not overprotect.